Yo, good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday morning toy collecting to everybody out there. You guys may recognize this cat right over here to my right. This handsome devil is El Spooky Zorro, my good buddy Rob Zamora, filling in for Greg today. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Oh man, I can't complain. It's Saturday morning. It's my favorite day of the week. It's my favorite time of the week where I get to sit down with, usually with Greg, but it's always a good friend. So whether it's Greg or whether it's you, we get to sit down and talk some toys. What about yourself, man? How you been doing this week?
Work's a little busy. Work's always busy at the end of the month. That's when we try to get most of our stuff out. So it gets a little hectic, gets hectic, and then it dies down. Beginning of the month is like slow, and that's when I look forward to. It's just like, let's get this month done with, and but not too bad.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so very much for filling in for Greg. Greg is not sick or under the weather. He is just picking up a different shift today. He wanted to pull up a an extra shift so that he could have some extra cash for ZoloCon, which is coming next week. I know I'm not going. Rob, I know you're not going. Right? You're
Mm,
not going.
I wish, but yeah, no, definitely not going. I don't even
Yeah,
know where it's at. I
I
know
think it's
it's,
in Pennsylvania, if I'm not
yeah, East
mistaken.
Coast, right? Somewhere. Yeah,
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Boy, somebody must have been smashing that like button already because Trevor is here.
I saw
I want to
that.
say hey to the chat because everybody was here getting ready with their comments before we even got started. We got Andy the Collector, JMac77, Curtis Ackerman, Jeff Evans, Trevor McGuire, Grumps, and Trevor, 1-6 Shooters, all in the chat today. Thank you guys so much for like tuning in, for adopting this new time frame, which I know is helpful for Rob for filling in, because
Yeah.
otherwise, if we were going live at 10, but dude, like when did you have to get up today? Like 3 in the morning?
Uh, no, it was 6:45. So I don't know what time that would have been
Oh
for
my
you.
goodness. Yes, Rob is a trooper, really, because he's out there in California. So
Yeah, had it
that
been the old schedule, I would have been like, you know what, Mark, I'd love to, but let's do it. Yeah.
no, man, I totally feel you. I think I would have turned it down too. Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. That's where
Mm.
ZoloCon is. Blake Recon Rage. Good morning to you, buddy. I got everybody here. Hey, Rob made it at the new Showtime this week. That's right. El Spooky Zorro.
I love this new the restream thing that you're using.
Yeah, I like Restream a lot. I switched over from StreamYard. I want to say it was around November because I think uh, like the price was going up. I was already paying like I want to say I was paying like $40 a month
Mm.
or something for Restream, and I think Greg had just started using Restream or StreamYard. I'm not sure what he was using, but I think he was like, "Yeah, did you see there was like going to be a price hike or something like that?" And I was like, "Dude, I can't pay any more than I already am paying." So I started looking around, and also I wanted something because like I think StreamYard it really plays well with Google Chrome, but it doesn't play well with Safari. And I have Google Chrome on my computer. I'm a Mac user. As a designer, it's a law we have to be
Yeah, I
a
am
Mac
too, but
user.
I use Chrome as well. I'm using Chrome right now, actually.
Yeah. So I found Restream and it offers all of the exact same services. It's got a really nice user interface that I find to be a little simpler and a little easier to use than StreamYard,
Mhm.
and it's much cheaper. Also, I happened to get a really good deal because it was right around November. So it was, they were doing a thing where if you bought during like that, their Black Friday sale, then you've got like 50% off like an annual
Nice.
subscription.
Yeah.
So I ended up, I want to say, like with my annual subscription, I think I end up paying like $15 a month, which is
Oh, well.
so much more affordable than StreamYard.
Yeah.
And of course, it will end it'll end next or this coming Black Friday in November. So I'm hoping there's another sale, and I'll re up for another year. We'll see.
Or,
Look here,
or do that thing where
Smurber is
you
like. Two handsome some bitches right here. Look at that. Look at this guy right here. I'm glad you dumped that last co-host. He was low key trash, no cap.
I
Oh
like
man.
that last co-host.
Oh, this is really cool. I didn't know this because I didn't stick with them. Curtis says it was all a StreamYard scam. They ended up lowering the price back to what it was for anyone who threatened to leave. They also had deals for new customers that were cheaper than it was. That
Mm,
that seems to be like, yeah, it sounds like they're pulling that whole like it that whole scam, like it's cheaper for like new people to sign on than it is for current customers. That's like what cable companies used to do and cell phone companies and all that. And it's like, here we're rewarding people who've never been with us, but we're not going to reward the people who have been with us forever. I don't know.
yeah, Hulu does that. When I try to leave Hulu once, they're just like, "Why are you leaving? What if we give it to you for like $4 less or some bullshit like that?" You know?
Yeah. One of the things that I love is that my wife and I both have XM radio in our car, and so XM
Hmm.
radio used to be like $20 a month per user.
Hmm.
So, so like if you called and threatened to leave, they were like, "Well, what if we give it to you for like, I don't know, like $6 a month? Would you stay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "All right, well, we can offer that for 6 months." So I just put a reminder in my phone in 6 months,
That's
called,
what we
threatened to
get.
leave, and they'd give me $6 a month again. But finally, I guess they got tired of playing around with that game and they just literally lowered their price to like $5 a month. They were just like, we're done.
I
Like,
can look into that because I actually liked when I got my RAV4 brand new and had the XM radio. You know how they do that whole year for free thing.
yeah, right.
Uh, but I always assumed that they would be like super expensive to keep or something.
Yeah, it was like 20 a month, but now I think it's like $5.99 a month for
Hmm,
XM radio.
interesting.
And I love it because I just listen to the 80s in my car. That's pretty much
Yeah.
that.
Totally.
80s and like Alt Nation, that's literally all I listen to.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys. Yeah. Yeah, I think they were testing the water to see how much people would put up with it. Yeah. Yeah. F around and find out, right?
Hmm,
Uh,
exactly.
I saw a professional way to say that this week, which I loved, which was go ahead and test that theory and take notes on the results. So like I'm gonna start putting that in my my official work email signature. Hey,
Yeah.
dude, shout out to this little thing right here. I finally got like a I don't know what this thing is called, like a I don't know. It's like a sound dampener for my microphone. You guys can't really see it. It won't get into frame, but it's this little ring. It's got some stretchy string on it and it holds my mic so that it like if I bump my table, it's like a
You
it,
won't hear it.
but the cool thing is it allows me to angle my mic, which I've never been able to do before. So instead of my mic just being like straight like this, now I can like literally angle it straight towards my mouth, which is probably not good. I don't know. It's good, but shout out to this thing because I'm digging it. Greg says thanks to everybody for watching. Let's see. Trevor McGuire says talk to my boy Wraith Mace about streaming software. He's doing it on his own. I'm sure he'd be willing to help answer some questions. Okay, cool.
There's Heinrich.
And
Heinrich, how
there
you
is
feeling, dude?
Heinrich.
Yeah. How you feeling, buddy? No, he was saying he was feeling a little under the weather coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope he's feeling good. But if he's out running errands, I'm hoping he is. All right. So this is the time of the show where we kick things off with our '80s toy commercials, and so we got some good ones today. I'm really excited about these. So let's dive in. After these messages, we'll be right back. That's all I hear every time I do that. All right, jumping in. Let's do it.
Take sides, then take command of new Megaforce.
Prepare to fire! Fire!
There's bombers, VTOLs, rocket launchers, tanks, and the carriers that take them into battle.
Launch Strike Master! Wings out! Helipad! Counterattack! Charge!
Each sold separately.
Thunderwolf!
Ooh, look
take
at that
off!
transformation.
Take command of the most awesome army ever. Take command of Megaforce.
I don't remember this one.
Yeah, I have no memory of this toy line whatsoever. But when I was doing my Meet the Collector interview with Nikki Nicole, She's a
Mm-hmm.
big military person. She loves GI Joe, and she loved this toy line as a kid, and she played with it with her older brother. And she was telling me about it. She was like, they're micro machine scale. They're all like military vehicles. But what you saw how like that big tank like
Right.
opened up and had a helipad inside of it. It was like this thing where like you could take a small micro machines like tank and then roll it into the back of another tank, and then that bigger tank would then roll into like a fighter jet, but the turret would stick out the top, so the tank turret became
Mm.
like the fighter jet cannon. It was a lot of like combinable stuff. I think this might have been post micro machines.
I was just about to ask, was it before or after? But
Yeah, I think it was after micro machines were definitely a thing
were they
around that
made by
same
the
time.
same company as Micro Machine?
I don't know. I want to say, was Micro Machines made by Galoob or something? I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't remember these at all. But apparently they were a pretty
No.
big deal. So when she mentioned it, I was like, oh, I gotta look that up, and I did. I come across some of the old commercials, and they're a lot of fun. I also come across a lot of commercials for this toy line that were from Britain. So like all the kids had British accents, but it was literally like the same footage from the American cartoons. They just were dubbed over with like English kids. It's not even like a different language. It's still English, but they all had accents, which was pretty funny.
That's funny.
Brian Carr's in the chat.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, thanks, Smurb. Angling anything towards your mouth is always good. There's a little crackling every now and then, but in the sound, but I'm not sure which mic it's from. Okay, that's cool. I'll look into that. Heinrich says I'm doing better. Thanks for asking.
Nice.
Yes, most definitely, Jeff. That is what she was talking about. Oh, this is awesome. Yeah, dang, Megaforce looks awesome. I would buy the heck out of those if they did Warhammer vehicles. Yeah, right.
That would be
Yeah,
pretty
I
cool.
zero memory of this. Like, absolutely. I have no, yeah, I don't remember these coming out at all. Like, I don't remember seeing them in stores. I don't remember seeing them at my friends' houses.
Well, at the beginning of the commercial, I thought it was going to be the Rambo tote line from the
Oh
cartoon
yeah.
or something. I was like,
Right.
oh,
Oh,
yes.
dude, I had those figures. I would love to do like a commercial special. Maybe I'll do that next week. Commercials that had for toys that were based on R-rated movies that we should have never had toys from, like Rambo. What was it? The RoboCop had a line of toys.
Right.
Like that movie's
Yep.
like definitely not for kids. Yeah, I miss this toy. It seems to be a thing. I don't know. Maybe it was just after our time. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, Rob. Greg says he needs a spooky Rob shirt.
I know, man. I totally messed up on it when I was placing the order. When I placed the order, I was reading my chicken scratch writing wrong, and I messed up his size, and till this day, I feel pretty bad about it because I knew he really wanted one. I was like, man, this sucks. But I'm
Yeah,
working on getting more for everybody. So
great. I'll take one
hopefully,
too. All right, let's dive into
Power
this.
Lords.
Extraterrestrial warriors.
I am Lord Power, leader of the Lords. Griptog and Roygoth are attacking. We must help Psyduck defend Balkan Rock. Power Lords.
Griptog has 4 fists. Psyduck is finished. It's Lord Power. He zapped Griptog's head. But Arcus has Psyduck.
Power Lords.
Adam Powell's Psyduck, Griptog, and Arcus are each sold separately from the Power Lords collection, new from Revell.
Ravel. Yeah, I
okay.
didn't have these either, but I did know about them. I
No,
did see them.
I had this and Adam Power, and I had them, and I don't know how we got them, but you ever remember those like plastic toy chests from the 80s? You kind of just looked
Oh
at the
yeah.
door and you're just
Hmm.
like, I remember we were like going through that, and I had found him, and I don't know why he was in there. Maybe one of the neighbor's kids, we got mixed up or something, but yeah, I remember that little toy where you would press the button in the middle of him, and then all of a sudden he would flip around. And
Yeah, absolutely. Now, somebody in the chat. I need somebody to jump in here. Um, didn't the Four Horsemen attempt to make
do
these?
something like that, yes. And I found
Didn't
that out just recently as well, too.
I remember them doing like a Power Lord treatment or something, like they showed off a figure, but I don't remember if they ever came out.
I don't remember either. I saw pictures. I don't know if it was like pictures from a con and they were trying to get it done, but or they were working with another company or something. But
Yeah, I definitely remember them making the Power Lord himself with the orange and the blue. I just don't remember if they ever come out. So somebody in the chat, let us yeah, let us know what we have to do.
Extraterrestrial warriors.
I have just 30 seconds to show you how the interchangeable Mantech robot warriors interchange. 30 seconds to show you more than 1 million different combinations. Solartech's head on Lasertech, or Negatech's legs on Terratech's body. But 1 million combinations? Impossible. It would take 10 days. Every part of every Mantech figure can be attached to every other Mantech figure to make one new creation. There are 6 Mantech robot warriors, each sold separately. This figure isn't sold. I created it.
Mantech warriors, each sold separately.
So I pulled this one because I was like, dude, talk about Mythic Legions popping and swapping. These were the Glyos of the 80s right here.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh? That I
Yeah,
don't.
I had 2 of these. I remember my parents bought me a good guy and a bad guy. I couldn't tell you what their names were. But I remember having 2, and I was like excited to like get home and mix and match their parts, but then I realized I was just like mixing good guy parts and bad guy parts together. I was like, I really need like
Was
either
that
2
based on a
bad guys or
cartoon?
do what?
Was that based on a cartoon, Mantech?
I don't think it was. I mean, most toy lines in the 80s had cartoons. If there was a cartoon for this, I don't remember it like
Right.
whatsoever. Okay. Oh, here we go. It didn't fund. Trevor says it didn't fund. Okay. Or wait.
Oh, they did a Kickstarter. Looks like he says.
Okay. All right.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wonder if they bought like that whole line. They were gonna do a Kickstarter to get it going.
A little more info. You said it didn't fund, Trevor, but then you said it did. So did it? Did it fund? Or did it not fund? I don't. I
think
mean,
he
if it
meant,
funded.
Where they say he wrote they did a Kickstarter, but he wrote DOD.
Oh, I got you. They did a Kickstarter. It didn't fund. I got you. Thanks, Trevor. Yep, we're all there. We're all on the page now. Hey, Collectible Fun. That's a new name that I haven't seen before. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining the show. We just did our 80s commercial segment where where we go back and we look at some toy commercials from the 80s. It just brings up some of that nostalgia, and sometimes it gives us ideas of what we'd love to see like coming down the line right now. But typically at this point in the show, oh, no, I always get ahead of myself. We're not doing unboxings yet. We're going to do some pickups, so let's jump into that. Now, Rob, I know we were talking this week. You said you didn't have any pickups from this week.
Yeah, I don't think I got anything. I think like everything as far as pre-orders for me have all come in. Every pre-order from last year. The only thing I'm waiting on is Necro, and that's just from Wolf King. So I still got like another week or so before I see those.
Oh yeah.
But that's about
Let's
it.
see. Jeff says 4-H made about 4 characters in Glyos for Power Lords. I was just gifted 2 recently. That's pretty awesome.
Nice.
That's really cool.
I feel like somebody did a custom Mythic Atom Power. I could be wrong, but I almost remember, because when I saw it, I was like, "Holy shit, dude!"
Yeah, that would be an awesome, like an Atom Power tribute in the Cosmic line. I'd be down for that for sure, dude. Like 100%.
It's a
Curtis
Peach
wants to know
Pit.
what's your shirt.
Yeah, it's a Peach Pit After Dark. A lot of people from the '90s might know it. It was a club from Beverly Hills that was owned by Dylan McKay. If you get the reference, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I do not, but this is awesome. I'm digging it.
It's from 90210. They had
okay.
Peach Pit, and then later in the seasons, they opened up a club next door called the Peach Pit After Dark. So yeah,
very cool.
Cool.
I have got a lot of pickups. I was really hoping that some of these would have arrived last week in time for our last show, but they did not. And it's mostly AWOC themed, but you were mentioning Necro, and I just wanted to show off. I did get this guy in, Sir Elijah. He was the one that I was looking for most out of this wave. I didn't do the pre-order, and nobody sent me this special. This guy, there was a guy on eBay who was selling this, and I guess he got. It was kind of weird. Like this guy on eBay, he got in the whole. I guess he did an all in, and he was selling all the figures individually.
Hmm.
And we got to talking on eBay. We were messing each other back and forth, and I said, you know, you could have probably sold these in the Cabal without having to like give eBay any money.
On the
And
feed.
he's like, I don't know what the Cabal is. And
Oh,
so
really?
he was, I said, it's the official like Facebook group for Mythic Legions. He's like, yeah, I've never heard of it. And I was just like, then how did you get an all in? Like, I
Yeah.
don't like, why are you doing an all
How
in
did you know
pre-order
about Mythics?
and
Like,
then don't know? Yeah. How do you exactly like, it just seemed very odd to me, but I was like, hey man, whatever. And he had some really good prices. He sold, I got the Necro Knights hands pack. He,
nice.
this was 20 and this was 55. I mean, this is
Wow.
$5 more than I'm going to pay at a show to pick this guy up, you know, or that I'm going to pay like Big Bad Toy Store or whatever, retailer
So
price.
did you buy the all in for certain figures? He didn't want the other ones, or like
No, I
what?
think he had the whole wave. He had everything on his seller page, and the prices were not astronomical. They were all just like $5 to $10 more. It wasn't crazy. And I was like, I need that Sir Elijah. So you guys know that on Mondays I do a Mythic Monday. So yeah, stay tuned that I'll be reviewing Sir Elijah on Monday for that guy. Let's see here. Get back to the chat real quick. Chris Johnson says, "Good morning, gentlemen." Oh, Eric Miller did a custom, so that's really cool. Oh, here's Charles. Good morning, Charles. And oh yeah, Sir Elijah. He was the one that I was just like, if I miss everybody, I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss that guy. Just something about him just looks so awesome to me.
Yeah. I mean, the
Okay.
Templars are
Oh,
one of my favorite, like the Knights. Yeah. When I first started collecting, I was going for all the Templars, like as many as.
oh, nice. Yeah. Trevor says they bought the property rights. They did a few figures and then tried to expand to a full line, but it didn't fund. And then Trevor says, Mark, I sent you a link to the story. That's awesome. I'm going to read that because I remembered them dabbling in Power Lords, but I don't remember what happened because I think that was in that period of time when I was not collecting mythics. So I wasn't staying up to date on the news, but I mean, they're a popular toy line. And a popular toy company. So I was like hearing them, like still seeing news, but I just wasn't dialed into it.
That would be cool if they did it with what's that Mythic? That whole other. I always get confused with the name. What is it called? Where they're going to bring different properties in Mythic style,
Uh,
Legends or something. I can't remember.
oh, okay. Yeah. Charles, yeah, Greg had to he had to work today. So he's pulling it. He didn't get fired. I did not fire him. He's on sabbatical with a hefty with a sizable paid leave. Yes, yeah. It's just hard to think about that, but yeah, you're right. The people in the Cabal are a minuscule portion of the overall 4-H customers. Yeah. Uh, Smurf says he couldn't cut the mustard. Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, so speaking, let's see here. Chris says, this Chris is not going to Zolo. So speaking of Zolo, you and I both have a lot of friends that are going. Are you putting in an order for anything while at Zolo?
I was thinking about maybe some AWOC stuff, but it's not like I really need anything right now, depending on what their con prices are. And they're not doing any exclusives there, I don't think. 'Cause I don't think that translucent pale is going to be there. And then, what's the Zolo 4-H exclusive?
That is the Headhunter from
Oh,
the
right.
Warrior Beasts. So yeah, I believe Terrence is picking me up one of those. And I just recently requested that somebody pick me up the Valaverse like Steel Brigade exclusive that they're gonna have there because it's gonna be like a vac metal head.
Yeah, I
And
saw that.
I dig that Steel Brigade look, and so I would really like to have one of those in my collection. Recently, Steve, our buddy Steve over at Articulated Empire, just sent me 3 new Valaverse like Action Force figures,
Yeah, I
and
saw one of your reviews. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm going to be doing those for the next couple of weeks, getting those reviews out. I had a few Action Force figures like during COVID because they had just come out. I think that first wave had just come out, and they were like something new that I could order and like get in my hands, and I dug like they were pretty decent. I ended up getting rid of them. I just at that time I just didn't have room for stuff that was like independent, like in my collection. I just didn't have a lot of like. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get into this whole line. I'm not going to buy everything. And G.I. Joe Classified had just started, and I was like, I really want to like get hard into that line, so I just chose to give them up. But the newer figures are really nice. I think this is Wave 5, so they feel really good in hand.
I only have one, and it's the female chick with
Oh, right, okay.
scars on her face.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, so yeah, and now at this point, I've got some Monster Force figures hanging around. So I was like, hey, I can put them in with my Monster Force. They can like fight the monsters.
Pretty
So
cool.
yeah, that's pretty neat. And then after that, I don't know. Like, I may ask Terrence to like snag me like one of the Necro figures if they have Necro at Zolocon. We'll
Yeah,
see. They should
we'll
be
have
there,
a-
but we don't know.
Yeah, well, Jeremy did say that they were, but as far as like the stock that they're going to have is going to be pretty limited. So they could go quick. What they'll have, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to grab anything. If anything, I'll probably see if anybody can get me the exclusive 4H one.
Yeah, that one looks really dope.
But and then it's one of those things where like it's going to be in that exclusive box, and we'll like take it out. Should I just wait for the standard one to come out?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Who knows?
Cool. Well, the rest of everything that I have is all AWOC, and that's really going to tie into what we're talking about today. Today is going to be a very AWOC heavy show, and I really want you guys to please stay all the way to the end if you can, because Rob and I are going to have like a super awesome, really big announcement for you guys, and I can't wait to see how you guys respond to it. So I'm just going to blow through these really quickly. Right before their sale ended in January, this was like their warehouse. It wasn't their Black Friday sale. It was their warehouse sale that Sparrow was having. I pretty much cleaned them out. I was like, okay, if this sale is about to end, let me go ahead. And I placed a huge order. And then I was able to get, I think, 3 figures that I was missing from Terrence. He sent me 3 that he had for sale. So I'm just going to blow through them. I got a couple of the bucks that I was missing. So this guy and this guy were the last 2 that I needed. And then I went back and started picking up some old figures. I picked up the original Pale. So have him. And then, let's see, I picked up the Feralus Stalker. I had one already, but I wanted another one because I really dig this design. Also picked up Blight, which I know this is, I think, was it Trevor? Trevor, did you and I were talking about AWOC? Did you say that your favorite was Blight? I'm not sure.
That was my first pickup at Legion's Con. So it kind of has like this, yeah.
No, it wasn't Trevor I was talking to. It was Jordan from the Purple Gang Gang guys. I asked him who was his favorite, and he said Blight. Sorry, Trevor. Maybe it was Trevor. Maybe Trevor also said he liked Blight. I don't know. Trevor, chime in. Who's your favorite AWOC? But I love this guy. I love the poison weapons that he has. That's pretty dope. I always passed on this guy, and I'm not sure why I did, because now that I got him in hand, he looks amazing. And this is the Chunari Centurion. I may end up getting a second one of these. I did not realize he came with like this little white cloak thing, which looks like that tiny little white cape that I think Kali has, but it's purple on him. I didn't know he came with a white one, but that's pretty dope. I love the black and the gold.
Brian,
so
if
that's
you're
really
still in the chat, I might have you pick him up for me.
Yeah, very cool. I got the Horrid Ravager, which I love this dude's red nose.
I need that guy too.
Let's see, almost done. I went ahead and got Atreyu.
Nice.
The first one with the regal armor, or his kingly armor, and then I picked up the Chunari Legionary, which I have another one of these guys coming because a friend of mine only collects like He-Man and He-Man tributes, and so he found, he doesn't collect AWOC at all, but last week he was like, "Hey, I found like Tanger and the other orange buck." There's an orange guy that looks like this. That's in
yeah. Brian hooked me up with him as well. Yeah.
He was like, "Those are like Beastman tributes, right?" And I was like, I guess. I mean, Tanger is for sure because it was sold at PowerCon the year that it came out. And he's like, "I think I'm gonna pick them up," but they come with that Chunari, the red one, red Chunari Legionary. And he's like, "I don't want that figure. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." And he's like, "Cool, just pay for the shipping." I was like, "You got it." And so have another one of those guys coming. But yeah, I am now up to date. I now have all of them, and I put together this little graphic because I wanted to show everybody just how many figures are out now. And I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 26. I think this is the entire lineup. And I just did not realize they had put out this many figures. This carries us all the way from wave 1 to wave 4. And so, I mean, who are you missing from this lineup right now that you're like, "Man, I really need to pick them up next"?
Okay, so let's see. Top line, the one next to Kali, the one of the soldiers in the blue.
Oh, this guy. Yeah.
Yep. And then let's see, second line. Second line got them all except for the gold soldier all the way at the end.
Nice.
And the bottom line, the one exclusive 8 Tanger.
Yeah.
And that's it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Tanger's really cool. I picked him up around the holidays. He happened to be he popped in on Sparrow's website in a damaged box, and I think they wanted like $45 for him. So I picked that up at a good price. And the box was barely dinged. Like there was really nothing wrong with that box. But
are these? So you see the one next to Tanger? That's totally different than the one above, isn't it?
Yeah, they're different. Yeah, they're different guys, and one's got a red face.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let me see if I can because he doesn't come with 2 different heads.
Okay,
of course he would be on the bottom.
Right. So
yeah, it's this guy here, the Horrid Ravager. Here, let me do this. Let me bring this up. Yeah, so it's this guy.
Yeah, I don't have that guy either. Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, he is really dope. It's got a little hit of green up around his neck, and the different color blues. Sorry, I just hit my my mic. But yeah, who was it down here? Okay, Grumps says, "I love the AWOC line. We do too. As a matter of fact, there is a lot of us that are on a Legions Collectors private Facebook chat, and there's probably like 8 or 9 of us in that chat. I think 7 or 8, and then I think maybe 4 or 5 of us, like outside of that chat, started a new chat called the Tribe, and that's our little private AWOC chat line because there's just other people who don't collect it. We didn't want to like clog up our Legions chat with AWOC chat, but yeah, man, this line is incredible. It is so incredibly good. 1 second, I'm gonna grab something. Sorry, I just wanted to grab a couple that this is really what turned the line around for me. Like when I decided to like dive whole hog was I picked this guy up from Big Bad Toy Store, who was the Kickstarter exclusive from Wave 1, I believe. And I got him like a custom cape, like a posable wired cape off of eBay. And this dude, he's a magician. He's a wizard. He comes with this. I think he's the only wizard or mystic in the whole lineup. And I think I had probably 4 or 5, But when
So
I
I
got
don't
this
want
guy,
to ruin it for anybody that hasn't read the comics or anything, but I did talk to Jason about, because he does make an appearance in one of the comics, and I asked him about him, like, because I thought he was a good guy, but he was on the opposite side fighting Pale and Atreyu, and he said that it was a cameo appearance, so we might or might not see him in future issues, which is
right?
interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
he isn't a good guy apparently.
Yeah, and I mean that just to me, this guy just looks like he stepped straight out of the '80s. You know, like this. If this was this is definitely a toy that would have been made in the '80s. I would have bought this line 100%.
Yeah.
But that guy really did it. Vero Atlas is his name. And then I also got a custom cape or a wired cape for my Gladiator Atreyu. I love this. I love this guy.
Dude,
This is killer.
I've been trying. Yeah, I
Oh,
was
look at that.
working
That's
on.
awesome.
I was working on like some kind of like, because the way I think about it is like the armor that they have. It's like in the comic book, it's like they stripped them from their armor and they just had to pick up whatever they could to be,
Right.
So I kind of made this like half-ass kind of.
I love it.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, Monarch Prime. The AWAC line is awesome. I just started collecting them last month. What was your first figure that you bought, Monarch? I'd love to know. Curtis says can't wait for the dog smoking the black and milds. Absolutely. Let's see. Ash makes the best ancient for customizing parts. He's got 2 heads from the Feline Heads pack. Yep. Charles says I like the gorilla. Absolutely. You guys can come through if you need to. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there's some really cool for my buddy who loves the Masters tributes. This was something that Rob and I wanted to talk about, but this is part of our double down, so we're just gonna go ahead and get into it. Let me get back to my buttons. Greg always makes fun of me. I don't know where all my buttons are. Here we go. Let's get into the double down. All right. So one of the things we're going to be talking about is my friend who like only likes the tributes. I told him, I was like, well, there's another tribute coming, but we wanted to talk about 2 special AWOC releases that are coming out, and the first one that we wanted to mention. Sorry, my wife is gone with my oldest son, so my 2 younger kids are just like going to just run rampant through the background for the rest of this episode because I should be on parent detail, but I am currently doing this. So, but we wanted to talk about, this is the Spectral Pale, and boy, I had a really hard time trying to find images of this guy because
Yeah, I haven't
there's
even
not a
seen this
lot.
one that you got on the bigger picture.
Yeah, I had to go back all the way back to the Kickstarter page.
Nice.
To find this image. So this was a Kickstarter for Primal Series 2. So the only way you could get your hands on this pail was the Spectral Pail is if you were a backer and you paid for it, I guess, during the Kickstarter, which is now over, of course, and closed. So if you didn't back it and you didn't pay for one of these, I guess it's going to be hard to get this guy. Now, that being said, Vero Atlas that I just showed off this guy was the Kickstarter exclusive from Wave 1, and he was, I got him most recently, like I got him around the holidays, and I got him from Big Bad Toy Store. So maybe this will be available at cons if they make a lot of them in the future. Maybe this image in the orange background is on their Instagram page, and they actually do a thing where they turn the lights on and off, and you can see the different, like, how he looks with the lights off, how he's translucent, and then like when you turn the lights on. And then I think this is a tribute to the Spectral Pail that they did for the Kickstarter for the 4-inch figures back in the day. I found this on the original 4-inch Kickstarter page. So for those who don't know, AWOC started out as a 4-inch line of action figures. That's how they were announced. And they were even, I guess the Kickstarter funded, I'm assuming, because those figures were made, and you can still buy them on Big Bad Toy Store. You can buy the entire wave of the 4-inch versions. But I guess somewhere along the line, they just decided we're going 6-inch, and they relaunched as a 6-inch line. And so I don't know the full story there. I don't know why the pivot. I'm not sure, but I'm glad they did because I'm just not into 4-inch figures anymore. I just don't buy a lot of them, you know.
No, it's pretty rarefied by them. I wonder if it was one of the same thing with 4-inch where they told them like, hey, 4-inch and 6-inch cost the same amount of money. If you were to go 6-inch, might as well start doing 6 inches or something. But
yeah, and you know the market is trending 6-inch. I mean, just every popular toy line right now is 6-inch scale. So yeah, like 100%. So yeah, did you happen to back this Kickstarter series too? Do you have one of these guys coming?
I didn't back any Kickstarter, and
Okay.
only because in the beginning when these came out, they reminded me of Classified, which I was just getting out of, and I was focusing on 4-H, all Mythic Legions, and they look a little too cartoony to me, so I wasn't into it at all. Yeah, I completely didn't care about this toy line up until Legions Con when I picked up that first one, and that was it. I was like, man, and I had FOMO like big time. I was like, man, I should have backed these back a long time ago because they're great. Yeah. So no, I didn't get this one.
I had a very similar reaction when I saw them come out for the very first time. First of all, I never saw the 4-inches come out. I didn't know about the 4-inch Kickstarter. Didn't know they made 4-inch figures. I didn't know that at all. Like that just slipped completely under my radar. But I remember, I think it might have been, I went to a toy show and I can't remember which one it was. And I saw them for the first time at the toy show. And I, like you, I felt the same way. I was like, these are very cartoony. These, you know, I'm just not really impressed like with how they look. And I completely just dismissed them straight out of hand. Like I didn't even like bat an eye. I was like, nope, not for me. Kept walking. But I can't remember if it was, I think it might have been, yeah, it was Steve, my friend Steve Mank over at Articulated Empire sent me some when he opened his shop, and he was like, do you want to, you know, review these and put them up on your channel? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so he sent me the Fairless Stalker, which is that brown one. Let's see. It was this guy right here. So this was the first one that I ever put my hands on and touched. And instantly I was like, oh, I get it. These are fun. I get it. They're a lot of fun. They move good. They're well sculpted. The weapons are great. They move. They're like Bill says in his Dork Lair reviews. He says, you know, hand candy. And that's what it was. They're just fun to mess around with and play with. And then when Greg and I met, he was like, dude, I got one of the Onyx figures. And he's like, this guy just stays on my desk. I just pick him up and play the Onyx, the black buck, you know, just the plain. And I was like, yeah, no, I get it now. And they're straight out of the 80s, like, or maybe late 80s, early 90s. Like, this is like an early 90s toy line. And like, if these had come out back then, I would have absolutely, I would have bought them as a kid. Yes, absolutely. It's easy to overlook a 4-incher, Mark. Yeah, I know. My wife does it all the time. It's just, yeah, it depends on how it's displayed, Curtis. That's right. If you're a grower, not a shower. Yeah. So no, I love this line. I'm totally in. I mean, yeah. Now I have them all. Marnock said his first one. I just want to get back to this. Was a Hawken, which is like the leopard guy from the like wave 3 or wave 4. I really dig that guy a lot. And then he says now, let's see here. Yeah. So far I have Pale, Atreyu, Kali, Vero, Fairless Stalker, Onyx. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the other thing too. Like, it wasn't just the figures. When I placed my big order, I also picked up like all the weapons pack, all the armors pack, and all of the heads pack. So now I think I have everything that they've put out. The only thing I don't have is the glow in the dark weapons pack. I'm just not a big glow in the dark fan.
Yeah, so. I haven't picked that up either, but it's like, nothing that it's a big deal.
So my hopes are like much like Vero Atlas. This guy will make his way out. Let's see what you got there.
I was just gonna say it's like little things like this where you could just, because I tried to do that with the skeleton. I wanted to get him like to crouch down like that, but it just wasn't happening, man. And these guys, their movement is crazy.
Yeah, the minute you throw on like a custom cape, it really brings those characters to life. Like
Yeah,
it really helps a lot. I don't know. I would love to see them um, add soft goods in the future in future waves.
absolutely. Big
It
fan.
just adds so much, and then all of a sudden, like this doesn't look like a $25 figure anymore. Like I
No,
don't know, it helps out a lot. It adds some dynamic movement and
totally.
motion to the
I
characters, and
actually
they
took that plastic piece off Ali and added,
oh yeah,
and it just,
for
yeah,
sure.
like you said, it makes it so much better, dude.
Yeah, if you're at a toy show, go up to the Spiro table if they're there, and they have a lot of them sitting out. They'll let you pick one up and like play around with it. If you're on the fence,
You
pick one
have to
up, play
play with
around with
them.
it,
Yeah,
touch it, get it
that's
in your
so,
hand, play with it, and you'll be like, all right, give me this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and those
yeah.
weapons. And dude, and like out of the gate, they're doing weapons packs, armor packs, heads packs. Like
Mhm.
these things are made to customize and pop and swap. Now, I will say from experience, they're not easy to pop and swap. You do have to heat them up. You got to soak them in some hot water, hit them with a heat gun. The armor is not easy to put on because the armor is very rubbery and like a rubbery plastic, and then the figures are like this harder plastic. So you got to heat them up. You can, but a little bit of time and care. You just get you some hot
Yeah,
water, little
because
heat
this is
gun. You'll be
just
able
like
to take care of it.
the blank buck, right? So,
Right.
but you buy like a whole armor pack, and then you got a whole new figure that you just paid
Right.
20 for.
Yeah. Get a little heads pack. You get 3 heads, man. Throw a different head on there. Like you can really make these
Yeah,
guys what you want. Um, Curtis, yes, please do so. Yeah, I'll have Darla look into some capes
and
for AWOP.
Curtis
Absolutely,
was
dude.
saying something about the paint apps earlier in a comment. It was the paint app that he's not about, but like I was thinking, if you do a little bit of dry brushing on these, it would like make the fur pop out just a little because the texture on these you could easily do some dry brushing
Yep.
on these.
Yeah, I have seen a couple of customizers do both things. Dry brush, so you're picking up the highlights like on
Hmm.
where the skin is high raised. But I've also seen people do the opposite, where they drop a wash on there, and then it gets down in the recesses, and that looks
Right.
good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear you, Curtis. Yeah, absolutely. It's what initially turned me off is that they. So my problem was that when I first saw them, they looked too much like toys, right? I know that's going to seem stupid. I know that sounds stupid.
Yeah, I hear what you're
But
saying. Yeah.
it looked too much like a toy. It didn't look like a really cool character to mess around with. But where I came around on it was I was like, well, that's kind of like what I like about them. Is they very much remind me of older, like late '90s or late '80s, early '90s toys. And it was the aesthetic that turned me around on them, and just getting one in hand and messing around with it. But if Darla made some capes, I'll buy some. The next exclusive that we have to talk about now, this one is something that you will be able to get your hands on if you go to any of the cons this year. Specifically, Joe Lanta, I believe it's where it's going to make its debut, and that is this guy right here, who is their second Motu
Faker.
tribute, the Faker. And I don't know what this guy's name is, so if he does have a uh, if he does have like a specific name, if somebody in the comments knows, please let me know. This guy will be, oh, I'm sorry. He's going to be available at Toy Lanta. Sorry, for some reason I thought it was Joe Lanta, because I know there's like Joe Fest and then there's Joe Lanta, right?
I
He's
got
going to
a
be available in March. Let's see what Rob's got here. What'd you get? Look at that. You've made your own Faker from Mythics and Cosmics. Yeah.
Yeah, Corey Shortenhofer gave me at Legion's Con, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, that's dope, man. I love it.
It was
But
pretty
yeah,
cool.
I love this. This is basically just a repaint of King Hannibal, who is the king of the Lions. This figure's coming up in Wave 5. He looks great, but I absolutely I
Yeah.
I love this color. Like the bright blue, the bright orange, like Faker set the bar for like 80s aesthetic. Like this is just so perfect. But yeah, Toylanta is March 28th, 29th, and 30th. This will be exclusive to their table. So if you're heading to that show, you can get your hands on it. I'm really hoping he'll be made available for everybody out. Oh, he's called the Azure Lion. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Heinrich, if you're not going to be making it down to Toylanta, I will definitely be there. So if you need one, buddy, just let me know and I'll get you one. For sure. Chris Johnson, I want to make sure that your question gets seen by Curtis. Curtis, can Darla do ogre size capes? Dude, I love ogre scale capes. I have a few that I bought offline, and that would be great. Would there be a benefit in doing one of my explode figure style reviews on an AWOC, or is it not a line worth? Yeah, no, it is definitely a
I think
line
so.
worth customizing for sure.
Yeah.
That would be a
'Cause
great
there's
idea.
one part that Jason talks about you shouldn't pop and swap, and that's the waist part, because he says if you try to do it, it might break the little ball joint that's in there. People do it, but he advises against it, which is
Yep.
people
I will definitely, I can definitely say with the Feralus Stalker. So this was the one that Steve sent me for review. So after the review, I ended up getting an armor pack. And I think I reviewed this guy with an armor pack, but after I had done the review, I was like, man, I really want to, I'm going to pop this guy apart. And I was like, I wonder how. I didn't Google it. I didn't look it up on YouTube, and I should have. I was like, I'm assuming you just pop the leg off and you can change the armor. And I tried to pop the leg off and I broke the hip joint, like just snapped it in half. The leg does not pop off on its own. You have to heat them up. And I was like,
but yeah, it would be cool to do like black limbs on one of these. It would be cool
for sure.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, to Curtis's question, yeah, it would be cool to see an exploded video on one of these.
Yeah. Oh, check this out. Curtis says we'll have some ogre-sized capes for Sir. Is that Ertzak? I don't know how to say his name. And Barodak. We'll have this at MuskyCon next month. That's amazing. That's awesome. Okay, so we have made it through our AWOC pickups. We've made it through the AWOC checklist. We made it through the AWOC exclusives that are coming up later this year. And so I checked to make sure that it was okay with everybody in the tribe. And I asked everybody last night, I was talking to them about it. I was like, because Rob's going to be on the show. We're going to start talking a lot about AWOC. We're going to have a lot of AWOC stuff that we're going to cover because this is a line that both I and Rob love. And so everybody in the tribe, I was like, is it okay if I announce what we had been talking about doing? So over the last few months, we've kind of, those of us in the tribe had been talking about doing a AWOC specific show. That's going to be called, well, I'll save the name, but so an AWOC specific show, and we're going to host it here on my channel, on the Saturday Morning Toy Collector channel, simply because I just don't have the mental capacity to manage two YouTube channels. And there's so many things that go in with starting a YouTube channel, so many milestones that you have to get past before you could do certain things. Like, God, it's been a while since I started my channel, but I remember like when I started my channel, you had to get like 1,000 subscribers before you could, have a community post page where you could post like pictures and engage with the community. You had to have like 1,000 subscribers before you could monetize or whatever. I don't know if those metrics have changed, but I was like, I don't want to start from zero on a new channel. So we'll just add it to the roster of shows that are hosted here on Saturday morning. So on Saturday Morning Toy channel on YouTube, you get your Saturday Morning Toy Collector reviews. You also find Double Jointed, which is our show here on Saturday mornings. You also find all of my pose videos, which are in my shorts. So if you just go to shorts, I don't keep pose videos in my shorts. That sounded better in my head. But I mean, if you click on shorts, you'll see all my pose videos that I love to do. I love posing videos. They're just posing figures. It's just adults playing with toys and having fun. We set it to music and it's great. A lot of fun. And then it'll just be another outlet. It'll be another show that you can find, and it'll have its own playlist. And this will be part of our new offering. And so I asked everybody, and they were like, yeah, go ahead and announce it. Go ahead and let everybody know. So I just want to show this quick little teaser, and you guys let me know what you think of it. That's right. We're going to be starting a A new show. Oh, let's play it again, apparently.
Yep.
I don't know why it wanted to play again, but hey, we're doing it. I'll just pause it there. So yeah, we're going to be starting a new show called The Tribe, because that's what our little chat is called, and it is going to be an Animal Warriors of the Kingdom fan show. And so we're probably going to be looking to maybe kick this off maybe next weekend, or maybe the week, or not next weekend, that's ZoloCon, the weekend after. So in 2 weeks, we're probably going to kick this off. It's going to be a live stream. It won't be pre-recorded, and we're going to have a rotating host list. So you're going to see Rob on the show for sure, Jeff, Andy, Terrence, Brian Carr. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody who is, into AWOC and wants to join. We have a couple of people in the chat and involved with this show that are friends with Jason Benvenu, like yourself, and Terrence. Oh, look at this. Thank you, Brian. You did not have to do that. Super chat. Congrats on the new show. Lots of great options on Saturday Morning Toy Collector. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you for that super chat, Brian. You didn't have to do that. So a lot of you guys are friends with Jason and have, sort of like told him sort of that this was going to happen. And so we're really hoping that Jason and maybe some of the other members of the Sparrow Toys crew who created AWOC can maybe come on the first episode, sort of christen it, if you would, like break the champagne bottle across the bow of the ship and help us set us out on our new little journey here. And the reason we wanted to do this was because there was a lot of us that really love AWOC and we wanted a chance to talk about it more. And really, there's not a lot out there in the way of AWOC coverage. So we're very fortunate that we have Brick Something, who I'm going to be on his show next month. So that's going to be really cool. But he is connected very, very closely to Sparrow Toys. He works with them in a professional manner. And so he gets inside information and he's able to, kind of share that, like test shots and, product samples back from the factory and things like that. And he gets to drop news. So I encourage everybody to go check out Brick Something's AWOC Talks. I forgot what that particular show is called. That he does, but you definitely want to check out that coverage. And then there is a Facebook group called House of AWOC that's kind of like the official Facebook group for that. So those are the two main places that I think you can tune in and get information, but it's really limited to those two things. If you're not talking about sparrows on like Instagram
review or
or if you go and search up reviews, because there's tons of reviews out there. Absolutely. Right. So we wanted a place where we could do it. We're probably going to do the show probably every 2 weeks. It won't be like a weekly thing. And it's going to be a rotating host. Whoever can join that week is going to join in. But we're going to do stuff like we're going to cover AWOC news when it's available. There's not a lot of it that comes out in very quick, timely manners. So we're going to cover news when there's news. But what we really want to do is we really want to make this show community focused, fan focused. Yes, Jason and the crew may come on from time to time if we can get them. But this is not in any way going to be like an official channel for their information. If we got a scoop, that would be fantastic. But for the most part, this is going to be about the community, about what we love about this toy line. So, we're going to show some customs from AWOC, from the AWOC community that we love each episode. We're going to do some posing tips. That would be a lot of fun. We're going to focus on AWOC reviewers, AWOC toy photographers, like Elijah Baker, who I got the chance to meet at Legion's Con this past year, does some great AWOC photography, pop and swaps with other lines. So we're going to really kind of focus on what the fans in the community are doing with this particular line. We'll probably start off by all of us sharing our favorite AWOC figures, and then in the coming months, like we just showed, we have 2 exclusives that are going to be releasing, so we can talk about that. Also waves, so the season 2 like wave, or okay, so wave 5, is it wave 5 is part of season 1, and then wave 6 is like part of season 2, I think. And so all of that's going to be happening throughout the rest of the year. So we're going to get a chance to
We'll
have
talk
new
about all
figures to
these
talk
guys up
about.
here.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. Let me get this off the screen so we can, yeah, all the new figures that are going to be coming out. Yeah, the Raven, the Bunny. We're also going to talk a lot about the comic book as well. The comic book is very interesting because there's an entire side of the Awok mythos that if
Hmm.
you only collect the figures, you don't know about. There's a big twist in the comics, and you learn this in issue 1. But I also know that the issues are hard to come by, and I think that there's a reason for that. That we've learned. I think that the only issues that are out are 1 through 5, and I
But
think
you
Sparrow
can
is.
get them now digitally from Sparrow, I believe, on their
Oh,
website.
okay.
So
Yeah,
if you haven't gotten
absolutely.
it, yeah, definitely get it, because I didn't know anything about Awok until I read and it's a great comic book. Like, yeah, great
Yeah,
story.
absolutely. I was kind of blown away when I read the first issue. I was like, "Oh, that's what's going on." I had no
Mhm.
idea. Like, there's
Totally.
no mention of it on the back of the box in any kind of
Yeah,
character's bio
which is
or
kind of
anything like
funny.
that.
If you read V Dog's comment, does Awok have any Tarzan type characters? Yeah, not really, but kind of. It's yeah. So
Read the first issue and you'll find out. And
yeah.
to answer your question, Charles, what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about Marvel Legends just put out their Kazar way. Is it Kazar? Is that his name?
Yeah.
The the Tarzan type character that comes in the build a figure with the where you can build his. Oh yeah, that guy right there. Show that guy off. I'm gonna make you big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude's awesome.
Yeah.
And
He
then
was
what is
great.
it? Yeah, look at that. Oh, that's so dope. I'm thinking about picking one of those guys up and kind of mixing him in, and you can have like what Curtis called earlier, the Planet of the Awoks, which is also another great. Dang, why didn't we think of that as a title for the show? Like, we should have invited Curtis. Speaking of Curtis, Curtis dropped a super chat. Thank you so, dude. Man, I appreciate you so. Cheap plug, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm doing a live 2.0 Mythic Legions pop and swap session with Jesse Arnold over at Art by Ackerman Channel. Great show, guys. Yes, definitely. Oh, you've built the whole dude. I gotta blow this up. You built the whole. What's his name? I forgot the cat's name.
Gabu.
Oh God, that looks awesome. I want to build him, but I don't want to buy that whole wave.
If you do decide, I have an extra left back leg or something. One of the two. I can't remember, but I
Okay.
think I'll have extra
Yes.
clips if you decide to build him. You
Yeah.
can
Let's
just
talk after the show because that'll
yeah,
probably save me from buying one of the
absolutely.
figures. But yeah, thank you so much, Curtis, for that super chat. I really appreciate it, dude. You're amazing. So that's gonna happen. So let me go back. I want to read. So let's see here. Let's catch up on some of these comments, and Rob and I can kind of weigh in on them. So after the announcement here, let's see. All right. So Charles says, awesome, Mark. Love it. Grumps is saying, loving it. Heinrich says, very cool. Jeff says, right on. Then we had Brian Carr super chat. J Mac says, congrats. Sounds fun. Monarch Prime says, fantastic. I wish I could get on Facebook. Hey, I feel you. I know. I've got a friend of mine who is a retired teacher, and the entire time he was teaching, he refused to get on Facebook. He had to stay off Facebook, and I understand it, man. You got to get Adam and Brick on. Yeah, we probably will at some point. Smurber says, congrats, guys. I'll be subbing. Yeah, Brick does AWOC talk and highly articulated, and Brick does monkey talk. Great. Thanks for letting us know that. I appreciate that, Andy. Chris Johnson says, congrats. Great idea. Andy the Collector says, no, Charles, all anthropomorphic animals, people, no humans. Read the comment or read the comic. You'll see why that is and how that came to be. And then, yeah, Brian Carr is absolutely correct. Issue 1 changes how you think about AWOC, which is why I want to share the comic. And I hope, we can't get into the details, but I hope that there is an official way that the comic will get relaunched and rebranded and re-put out there for everybody, because we are all kind of waiting. Like, I think issue 5 was like the last issue to come out, and we're all kind of waiting for like, what's the story beyond, and they've got plans in the works, and they just need to be made public. And so, yeah, I can't wait for that. Here is somebody I don't recognize the name, but thank you for joining. Red Exo Mac 5. Customs are awesome. People do a great mix of matches. Oh yeah, Brian Carr says Kazar and Zabu. Yeah. Oh, Heinrich says spoke with a retailer who is AWOC account, and he was never offered the comic to sell. He was not happy. Yeah, I bought I think I bought like the first 2 issues from Ginger Kid Collectibles at a toy show last year, and was able to get some of the exclusive covers. Like, I got the Gorillaz tribute album cover, which is like, last I checked was like running around $140, $150 on eBay. Maybe that's just wishful thinking on that, on a few sellers' parts, but yeah, I do happen to have that issue. And so Zabu is awesome. He is better than the Creative Beast Big Cat. Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I noticed at one of the toy shows I was out last year, Rob Post from Savage Crucible had that cat on their table, and I was like, "Is that is that yours?" And he's like, "No, this is Marvel Legends. I bought it for the show." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Oh no, boom enabled. Grumps is on. I'm on the Sparrow page right now. You're making me place an order. That was the plan, my friend. That was all the plan. I still need to get issues 3 through 5. Like Rob said, I think they're all up on Sparrow Toys website, digital.
Yeah,
you can download
I could be wrong, but last I remember that they said that they had put the digitals up, if anybody, and they're like $1.99 each. So, yeah.
Let me. I'm gonna check right now. Okay, right now on their website, guys, listen. Issues 1 through 5 are all up for digital download. They've all been marked down from $3 to $1.99. So you can go and download all 5 issues that are out right now, and you can get all of them for $10. You can get the whole, like, 5 issues, $10. Yeah, and you're good to go, and you'll be all caught up with the story, and they are phenomenal. Dave Orkin says, L Spooky. I think he just chimed in. He just got here.
You know, not trying to take away from Sparrow's funds and everything, but if somebody's trying to buy like a whole wave or some of the figures on the cheap, 5K Toys is selling one of the waves for like a really nice discounted price. And some of the figures are at 26 each. So
it's a good price.
Yeah.
And then, oh yeah, here we go. Red Exo Max says, longtime watcher, just never messaged, but now the AWOC is on the plate. I'll be here for the lives. Absolutely. Definitely, you'll definitely want to check out our new show when it launches. Like I said, many of there's many of our AWOC team that is going to be next week at ZoloCon. So we didn't want to launch it when they're all out. We want to have as many of our team that's interested in doing it to be here as possible. So next week is a no-go, but the week after we'll launch up and we'll do it. And I'm here for it because I think this is one of the most fun toy lines out there. Sparrow and all of the people who work behind the scenes to make that line happen, they're all wonderful, great people who I've met at toy shows over the last few years. And I think more of a spotlight really needs to be shown on this toy line and those people. Mm-hmm. And we're here to support them from a fan perspective because it's a really fun toy line. If you love like Marvel Legends, if you love Mythic Legions, if you love just toys from the 80s and 90s, this is the line for you. So thank you guys so much for joining us in the chat today. I really appreciate it. Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm all in with the AWOC universe. So thank you, Rob, for joining in and hanging in there today and participating, getting up early and filling in for Greg. I know I appreciate it. I know Greg appreciates it. Greg messaged me privately off screen and said, make sure Rob is not going to be trying to be on the show next week when I return. Actually, to be honest, Greg Greg won't be on the show next week, I don't think. Now that I think about it, I think Greg will be at ZoloCon. So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to try to like tune in from ZoloCon or maybe like give us a what is it? When the reporters are out in the field, he's going to be on location shoot. Walking us through ZoloCon. I don't know. We're going to figure it out. I'll be here in the toy room talking with you guys. So no matter what. So thank you, dude. I really appreciate you being here today. This was fun.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love having you on the show.
And
thanks to all of the people in the chat, 21 of you, man, you guys are you're killing it. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the super chats. You guys didn't have to do that, but it means the world to us and allows us to do like giveaways and things like that. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate it. So thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Oh, hey, Rob, before we go, can you tell everybody where they can find you? Let's hear your socials.
Just Instagram, Spooky Zorro, Spooky_Zorro, and then Facebook, the Cabal and the AWOC, and I'm always in the chats hanging out.
Absolutely, yeah. Go and if you don't know Rob, he is a wonderful human being, and he's somebody who's great to talk to about toys. Has lots of insights, and he's also the coolest member of our group. So he makes all of us old guys look young and hip. So we're like,
I'm up there with
he's
you
our
guys
spokesman.
in age. Yeah, I'm also up there. I think Jeff is the youngest one in our group.
I think so. I think he's the baby of the group. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I super appreciate it. We'll be back next Saturday here to deliver the goods on Saturday morning. So we'll see you in the toy house.